Hi, welcome to the Lawcast. My name is Melanie Thorley and I'm a solicitor at MJT Law. Today I'm going to do something slightly different. I want to talk about some of the strange laws that either people believe exist or actually exist here in Australia. So we're talking about those weird ones where a policeman's not allowed to arrest you without his hat on, things like that. So the first one is pretty strange. Not so long ago, a Sydney cabbie was fined $100 for wearing brown shoes while waiting for passengers at a casino taxi rank. And this is in New South Wales. I really like this one because it makes absolutely no sense at all. First of all, that it was an offence to wear anything but black shoes at a taxi rank, but no longer. And it's such an obscure law. Why on earth are the police fining for this sort of thing? Even if they knew the law existed, what would be the point? Anyway, so the penalty was scrapped because the law didn't exist anymore. But it's just, again, it just shows you how weird some of these laws get and how strange, I guess, it's kind of balanced out in terms of, being fined or not fined. Now, I actually really like the next one. It's illegal to be in possession of more than 50 kilos of potatoes in Western Australia. What? I love this law because it really doesn't make any sense. Apparently, Western Australia has a really powerful potato regulator, and they made it way back in 1946. They made it a law to prohibit people from carrying more than 50 kilos of potatoes. I'm not sure why. Maybe too many potatoes is a bad thing. I actually don't know why it exists. But apparently this came up and the Premier promised to abolish this rather strange law in the next state election. Now, I haven't checked that. It was Premier Colin Barnett said he would abolish the Potato Marketing Corporations law if he survived the next election. So you could look that up, have a look to see if he did it. I think it's fascinating. I don't carry a lot of potatoes, but there are people who might. People in large families. 50 kilos is a pretty mad number. I wonder what you'd carry 50 kilos of potatoes for. Going on a really long holiday? Having a camp with a bunch of kids in it? No idea, but anyway, illegal. Now, the next one is you can't swim at Brighton Beach in Victoria unless you're wearing neck to knee bathers. Now, no. It's one that's out there, and I did a little bit of research, and it's out there a lot. If you go and Google weird Australian laws, and this one comes up a lot. And I had a look into it, and it's not illegal. It probably used to be, and there's this kind of jibber-jab saying that at some point it would have been unlawful because of morality laws and things like that way back when, but these days, no, you can wear a normal stock standard bathing suit. If you wish, you can wear the long ones at Brighton Beach. Now, it is illegal to offer an award, no questions asked, for the return of stolen property. Yeah, it's illegal to do that in South Australia and Tasmania. Why? Something about prohibition of letting people get away with things. So if a person publicly advertises a reward for return of property that has been stolen or lost, and remember, in most countries, pets are considered property. The ad indicates no questions will be asked upon the return of that property. That person can be found guilty of an offence and slapped with a maximum fine of $500. You know what? I'm not advocating people go out there and break laws, but if one of my dogs disappears and I put a sign out there saying, no, here's a reward, no questions asked, I would pay that reward. I would not ask questions, and if I got the fine, I would pay that too. But maybe lawyers shouldn't say that would be flouting laws. I live in Queensland, to be fair, so I don't live in South Australia or Tasmania, so I don't have either of those sensibilities, I guess, but it's a very strange law, especially when we're talking about, I mean, I can understand it if it's, I don't know, your lawnmower, for instance, you know, but a family pet, I think there should be some scope there to understand the difficulties of what might happen there, or your kid's favourite toy, or something, I don't know, something that makes sense when you say it. Now, there is another law that kind of bounces around when you do all this kind of Googling about weird laws in Australia. And one of them is you can't change a light bulb without having an electrician do it. Now, that was true a really long time ago, but it is not true today. And apparently, the legislation expressly states that you can change a light bulb or unplug a power point without needing an electrician. In fact, it clearly states that you can do that. But it did used to be a law. It actually used to be a law. What is a breach of the regulations or the laws or whatever is touching electrical wires that can cause you death. Now, seems like a bit of a weird one because, you know, whatever, but because it causes you death. But remember, it used to be illegal to commit suicide or to attempt to commit suicide. People put in jail for committing, you know, attempting to commit suicide. So I do like the light bulb one. It comes up an awful lot when you do all this Googling. From my research, it's not true. It is against the law in South Australia to interrupt a wedding or a funeral. $10,000 fine or 2 years in prison. I love this. I absolutely love this. I don't know how many people have gone to weddings when there's been some type of ruckus. Best weddings ever. I've been to a few where, you know, someone's sitting at the bar watching the wedding happen and gets up to a bit of mischief. I've been at a wedding where someone objected to them getting married. I absolutely love this. It is actually also illegal in Queensland, where I am, to publish or broadcast a phony birth, marriage or death or a new job. So I can see how the job one might work out. Okay, so apparently there is also a law that exists in Australia, in Victoria, that says that it's illegal to be near or inside a house frequented by thieves. Weird. Absolutely weird. Consorting laws, I think this falls under. Those found, there's some similar, where it's an offence to habitually consort with a person who is guilty or sick or suspected of being involved in organised crime. Fascinating. I actually find this one really fascinating. How would you, what, consorting? I mean, what does that mean? Doing business with, being friends with, having your kids play with? How would you possibly know this? Okay, so there's another one that comes around, and I just really don't understand where this one came from. It is okay to urinate on your left rear tyre of your car. What? I don't think that makes any sense. What? We have public urination laws. It's illegal to urinate in public. People get snapped by that all the time. Why, when all of a sudden, would it be okay to do it if you're doing it on your own car in the rear left tyre? I call bullshit, and apparently it is. I had a look at this one, and it is bullshit. In fact, in Queensland, the Summary Offence Act spells out evidence of public urination is evidence that liquid was seen to be discharged in the vicinity of a person's pelvic area. I love that, pelvic area. There's enough evidence that the person was urinating. What else would they be doing? Who's going to standing there with a drink bottle right down by that public area squeezing out the water? What? So I like it. I like it a lot. I guess someone had to explain it. But notwithstanding, yes, public urination, people, is an offence. Okay. It's illegal in Australia to walk on the right-hand side of the road. Where did this law come from? It's not true. People think it's true. It's a really weird one, because why would it be illegal to walk on one side of the road than the other? Plus, wouldn't it be different depending on which direction you're going? Apparently, if a pedestrian is walking on a road where there's no footpath or no reasonable access to a footpath, then they must walk on the side of the road that faces approaching traffic. That's actually a law. Again, a little weird, because how can you make that a law? But they have. They've said that you get fined if you're not walking facing the traffic on a road where there's no footpaths. Now, for those of you who are not living in Australia, Australia has crazy numbers of roads, even in the suburban areas, without footpaths. It is incredibly normal to be on a suburban street and there be no footpath. That's not to say there's not a bit of a grass verge or a lot of a grass verge, but there's no actual path. And from my travels, it's a little unusual. Yes, in Europe and some of the villages, there's no footpaths at all. It's just road and houses. And in this case, if you're in Queensland or you're in Australia and this was happening, you would have to walk facing the traffic, I guess, so you could jump out of the way. I don't know why that's a thing. You can see how seeing oncoming traffic might be sensible. But apparently you need to be facing. And you can get a $45 fee, 20 penalty units in Queensland and 20 penalty units in New South Wales. That's a lot of money. Okay, in Australia, in Victoria and South Australia, it is an offence to harm a homing pigeon. Now, let's set aside the laws around harming animals anyway, because they exist. We now have an additional law that particularly about homing pigeons. Okay, well, it's a penalty to harm a homing pigeon. Now, for those of you who watch me a lot, will know that I'm the sort of person that just hates extra laws for the sake of it. I don't like additional laws. Let's enforce the ones we have. Let's not make extra laws out there. It just confuses everyone. It seems superfluous to me. If we have a law that does the thing already, why don't we just enforce it that way? And this seems like another one. Why would we need a specific law for homing pigeons when we already have blanket laws out there against harming animals? No idea. Absolutely no idea. Okay, and the piece de resistance, everyone, the one I like the most is in Queensland. It is illegal to leave your car without securing it. So all those people out there who are in 45-degree heat, who run into the shops, and I'm not talking about leaving kids or dogs or anything in cars. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you driving somewhere, you're getting out of your car and you're walking into the shops for something, or you jump, anything. You leave your car. If you leave your windows down, you leave your car unlocked, you are facing a fine, my friend. It is illegal to do that. I don't know why. I mean, I could guess it's about encouraging theft, but I don't know. I don't know why this exists. I do like it though. It is one of my absolute favourites. Leaving your key in the ignition is a massive fine. Leaving your doors unlocked, apparently fine material. Leaving your windows down, apparently fine material. I feel like it's a little bit like blaming the victim here. Because I think what they're trying to say is you're encouraging criminals. But haven't we already been through this with various other laws? Isn't it not okay to blame a woman for the way she dresses if people are treating her like an object? Isn't it not okay to treat someone differently because of the way they look? Isn't it not okay to criminalise people like dad at the park? He's watching his kids. How is it a crime? But you get criminalised, or one can get criminalised for doing something that seems naughty in some way. Oh, he's watching the children, that's really naughty, or whatever. Why are we blaming the victim here? It's just a weird law. And it feels to me, if I'm going to go sort of into a little bit of a deep dive on this, it feels to me like we are saying that by leaving our doors unlocked, we are encouraging criminals to come and take something which will then put them through the criminal justice system. I'm not doing that by leaving my door unlocked or my windows down. I'm simply leaving my door unlocked or my windows down. I don't leave a sign saying, come on, somebody, steal something so we can snap you. It's not about entrapment. I'm not waiting with a camera to snap someone when they put their hand through my window to grab what? There's nothing in my car. Maybe an empty can of Coke. What? Anyway, so peoples, I do like that one. It is actually my absolute favourite. And it was meant to be my last one, but actually I'm going to do one more because this one's really crazy. It's illegal to dress up as Batman and Robin in Australia. Seems weird. Actually, what it is illegal to do is impersonate a policeman or a enforcement officer. So I guess if you're dressing up as Batman or Robin and behaving like an enforcement officer, then yeah, you're gonna get snapped, dudes. Naughty, naughty, naughty. But just dressing up as Batman or Robin, well, it might be like the brown shoe thing, no idea. But I call bullshit. Okay everyone, I hope you had enjoyed watching today's session of the Lawcast. It's a little bit unusual today. I had a little bit of fun with some of the weird laws here in Australia, some that exist and some that people think exist and don't exist. Hopefully that's given you something to think about. Take a look at that law in Western Australia, see if he managed to repeal the potato laws, and have a think about whether it's okay to criminalise somebody who leaves their doors open, who doors unlocked in their car. Have a lovely evening, and thank you for watching the Lawcast. See you later.